stay with us for a few moments. I'm going to invite Frank and Stefano on stage to do a little wrap-up. What a great morning we have had between scientists showing their solutions and their research, activists, entrepreneurs, Louis Pugh, who talks about how he puts his life on the line for the environment. Frank, let's do a little wrap-up, maybe a few words to kind of summarize and encourage the rest of this for the rest of the morning before we all go off to lunch.
Well, thank you very much, Henry, and thank you very much, Louis Pugh, for this very inspiring talk. So I think I'm going to try to summarize some of the messages that we heard today. Perhaps the most important message is that marine biodiversity is about people. It takes all of us, about many parts of society, to conserve life, from mighty plankton to majestic whales. All of this while we try to feed ourselves, power our society, and fuel our economies. We learned about the many benefits of marine life and also about the many threats to biodiversity that, in the end, threaten us. Over the past 100 years, our knowledge of the physical, biogeochemical, and geological environment has grown exponentially. And yet, we're still behind in understanding life. You heard many examples of gaps in our knowledge from the deepest part of the ocean to our coasts. We're also making great progress in our ability to forecast life and to try to build good scenarios to make decisions. And yet, our models are still primitive. A big challenge is simply public understanding about how much we depend on marine biodiversity. We heard that the public is interested in the stories that make all the technology, knowledge, human challenges personal, and how we can better use the arts to win hearts, minds, and partnerships. We heard about the problems of bycatch, the efforts to map the shallowest to the deepest habitats, and the water column in between, about offshore technologies to do aquaculture and energy harvesting. We heard about networks to help us build knowledge more efficiently so we can provide information to decision makers. We understand that most resources we're trying to monitor are outside conservation areas, and in fact, they're outside anything that we've mapped. So from a science point of view, we have incredible tools and technologies that are becoming more accessible. Advances in sensors, platforms like profiling buoys, animal tracking and biologging, submersibles, and cameras that can go deeper. We can now do omics underwater, imaging, passive and active acoustics. We do a lot with satellite remote sensing, and we have incredible advances in computers. We are collaborating with different communities to increase our measurements of biodiversity, and especially working with the user communities like fishermen and other people in industry to make this better. A very important effort in all of this is education and raising awareness of what science can do. To model life, like having a digital twin, we need to understand and at least to have a minimal critical flow of standardized data, just like we have for modeling weather, an airplane engine, or a power grid. But the way that we make progress is to work together in a way that we have not done before. And for that, we have existing multiple networks. So one very significant challenge is to get all of us on the same page on monitoring, sharing data, and ensuring that we are coordinated. The coordination and participation in outreach is still quite overwhelming. We didn't talk about much about it here, but there are massive efforts going on at the same time to link the social sciences and the natural sciences, the new methods you saw here, and traditional ways of knowing. There are enormous efforts underway to work within different knowledge systems, including those of indigenous and local peoples. We also heard today that there's a need for innovation in financing and funding these many knowledge systems. And we also heard that there's a strong call to update our laws, and we need these measurements to make these laws effective. You can see all of this happening around you in Nice at the UN Ocean Conference. So we're primed to have collaborations around marine biodiversity, monitoring and modeling, and using the knowledge in a way that we have not done before. So thank you. Thank you for inviting us.